This video, we're going to be talking about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. More importantly, we're going to be talking about my 10 favorite moments from the film. We're getting the Blu-ray and DVD release coming out in the next couple of days. I'm super pumped to see this movie. Again, I loved it when I saw it in theaters. I think it's a really good movie, not the best Star Wars movie. It's got a lot of heart, it's got a lot of grit, it's got a lot of power and emotion. So I'm going to give my top 10 moments from the film. Again, this is my list. You don't agree. I completely understand. I know that some people might like things differently than I do. And I just want to talk about this. I love this movie. If this goes well, I'll be doing the other Star Wars movies leading up to The Last Jedi. So, let's get right into it. At number 10, Admiral Rattus attacks the Empire. We're coming to the Battle of Scarif. Things are going down. A Rogue One crew is already on the ground of Scarif. But what's happening in the sky? The Empire is going to knock them all down, destroy them. Then what happens? Here comes Admiral Rattus in to save the day. Admiral Rattus is a character I wish we got more of. I want to see more of him in the show. In any form of maybe novel, comic book, something like that. He's dead now. I know he's dead. Darth Vader took the ship, whatever, but when you see this shot, when his ship comes in and all the other fighters to start following him, it's just so beautiful. It's classic Star Wars. It's an element that we haven't seen in the movies in a while. Just a big sweeping epic of like a space battle. It looked so good. And as soon as he charged in there, the Mon Calamari just barging right in, just looking like a badass. You knew some shit was going to go down. Admiral Rattus attacking the Empire, the space battle leading to it. One of the greatest moments of Rogue One, and number 10 on my list. Coming in at number 9, the introduction to Bail Organa with the Rebel Alliance. I loved this so much. I support the prequel movies. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're the best movies ever made, that they're just worthy of all this attention and Oscar buzz, but no, they're good movies. There are definitely worse movies made. They're not perfect. There's some flaws with the CGI, with the acting. A lot of choices made. Overall, I respect the movies. I understand the story they try to tell, and I think they are important for the Star Wars saga. And a lot of that has to do with Jimmy Smits and Bail Organa. So when we're coming to this movie and we see Bail Organa emerge from the shadows to talk to Jyn, holy, I just lit up when I saw that in theaters, because you can see how old he's gotten. It's been 19 years, and he's been through so much with the rebellion and the Republic and all this stuff that's happening, and you see him show up. It was beautiful. It was poetic. It just made me so happy, because the character is a character you can throw in anywhere in that timeline, because you need to see him there. And everything with him, talking about the Jedi and his daughter, everything with him on Alderaan, I just loved it. We know he's dead now, which really sucks. Bail Organa, I just love him. I loved when he showed up. It was a beautiful scene. You can see certain members in the audience like, oh man, that's Bail Organa. I thought that was a beautiful thing just to throw in there. I was going to put Mon Mothma in this spot too, but Bail Organa just had a bigger impact on me overall. So number 9, the introduction of Bail Organa in this movie. Number 8, the scene where Cassian shoots one of the rebel informants. This was so shocking in the theater, because up until this point, we've seen the Rebel Alliance as the squeaky clean good guys who are always fighting the good. We haven't seen them get down and dirty. But when you see this shot where Cassian shoots his informant in the back as they're trying to escape, you can really tell the rebels are struggling here. They are going through so much stuff, and they need to figure out how to survive, how to leave, become back into control, and take power back from the Empire. And with Cassian doing it, Cassian, my favorite character from the movie, this was a scene that made him just so much more, and we see the struggle that Cassian went through. He didn't want to kill him, but he had to. It really showed the grittiness that we haven't seen from the rebellion yet, and it made me really happy. It was a really interesting concept that I did not expect to come, and when it came, I was really happy. I was so shocked. It was one of the greatest scenes in the movie, and I think it made the movie what it is. It just set up the tone of the movie for being this like different kind of thing that's so dark and different from the saga films, and I just loved it. Number 8, Cassian shooting the rebel informant. At number 7, this is a hard one. If you haven't seen the movie, there are spoilers ahead, so I have the death of K2SO. I know I know, it's spoilers, but the death of K2SO. Throughout the movie, we see a lot of K2SO. He really is just the comedic, dry, deadpan humor that I wanted to see, and I just loved him. He's the anti-C3PO, and his death, I think, was the most impactful on me as an audience member. I mean, we've seen all of our characters go, and it was sad to see them all go. But I think the most heroic death, besides Chirrut, was K2SO. I mean, they were all heroic deaths, nonetheless. They were all heroic deaths, but you just see how far he's struggling to keep Cassian and Jin safe, and when he just shuts down the doors and says goodbye to them. I thought that was so emotional. It was so beautiful. It was a nice send-off for the character. I just almost teared up in the theater seeing that, because, and then this death is the one that set off all the events to come. You could say, maybe the destruction of Jeddah set up all the events, but no. Seeing K2SO die, a character who was funny, he was sarcastic, everybody liked him, he had all the jokes, and then seeing him go first, it set up all the other characters to meet their demise, and it set everything else up coming in the movie. It really makes me sad to think about it still, because the character was so good, so important. K2SO's death, number 7. At number 6, I have Mr. Grand Moff Tarkin and Director Krenek, and every scene they had together. These two had perfect chemistry that we haven't seen in The Empire before. The little rivalry of trying to figure out whose idea it was. I love that when Tarkin stole Krenek's credit for building the Death Star. Beautiful. It was funny. It was so different from what we've seen from a lot of these characters that I really enjoyed seeing how different it was. They played off each other well. You can say what you want about the CGI Tarkin. I'm not going to give them credit. There was no other way they could have done it. Maybe just, have an actor in there. I get it. I understand why they did it. And I don't think there's any really flaws with it. I mean, it's going to look better once we perfect the technology. And that kind of scares me. But for what we saw and for what it was, everything with Tarkin made me so happy. I'm a huge fan of Grand Moff Tarkin. I love the character. And with him and Krenek, there was a good to and fro, a back and forth that, these guys are high-ranking in the Empire and they hate each other. These government officials are fighting for control, trying to get on the Emperor's good side, trying to get on Vader's good side. You can see at the end, Tarkin takes the win. He advantages. He just beats Krenek in the long run, and Krenek just became like a weaselly character near the end. So, number 6, the foreplay of Krenek and Tarkin. At number 5, this one might be controversial. I know there's some people that think this was a good moment. Some people that might think, oh, this is so stupid. Why'd he say that? I have, don't choke on your aspirations. When we come into the theater, and we don't get a logo for this, we don't see like the name of the planet when we go there, but we see Krennic's ship touch down on a planet that's covered in lava. You're like, oh my god, this is Mustafar. We're going to see Darth Vader, and we get the iconic shot of him walking down the stairs, and we see the shadow and the voice and the smoke and everything. It was so beautiful. And then we get that beautiful conversation. And then before Vader leaves to walk back into his place, and he's choking Krenek and tells him not to choke on his aspirations. I liked that scene. I thought it was fun, and it did not feel out of place for Vader, because you can see he did it before in A New Hope at the beginning, when he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. It's not out of character for him. People are thinking it's out of character. It took away from how badass Vader was supposed to be. But I liked it. It was funny. It was cool. Completely worked for his character. Vader, they could have done a lot more of Vader, but what they gave us, I liked. And that being the line we hear from him, don't choke on your aspirations. I think it sets up Krenek. I think it sets up the Emperor. I think it sets up everybody else to come in the next movies, and I really loved the line. I was so cool with it. I thought it was fun in the theater. I just was blown away that they said it, and I liked it, seeing Vader in his prime, just being funny, being cool, just being a nice guy. I liked it. Number 5, don't choke on your aspirations. So, number 4, I have the rant that Cassian gives to Jin on Edu. I'm a huge fan of Cassian. I love this character, and I want to see more from him in any kind of form we can get. And when he gives his rant to Jin on, I've been fighting this rebellion since I was 6. I've been through so much hell, so much stuff I've been through personally. You don't understand. You've been running away, but sometimes you can't run away. And now that you can't run away, you understand the hardship, the pain, the suffering that we are all going through. And we're fighting for something we believe in, and you're just running away. It was the scene in the movie that made me think, holy shit, Cassian is going through so much, and I haven't really thought about it before. He's been fighting this war, he's been part of the Clone Wars, he's been through all this stuff in his life, and now it's coming down to, these are his final moments, the final chances he has, the rebellion has, in order to flourish, to be good. And you can see Jin is starting to realize that too. She just lost her father, and she understands there's not much hope left, and they need hope, but they can't win, they're losing. And when Jin hears everything Cassian is saying to her, you can see Cassian knows he needs Jin's help in order to save the rebellion. And you can see he is sick of this. He's done so much, and the rebellion has told him to do so much stuff, and he can't put up with it anymore. So he has to explode on Jin like this. And I think it's an impactful moment. It sets up, again, everything with Cassian sets up the end battle. Cassian, I think, besides Jin, was a character who I just fell in love with. And it was such a good line, such a good written piece, and hope was the main theme of it. And I just liked everything about it, everything we saw. So, number 4, Cassian's rant on Ito to Jin. Sticking with Jin, number 3, I have the look she gives Forrest Whitaker's character Saw Gerrera when she's looking at the hologram of her father when they're on Jedha. It's acting at its purest in the Star Wars. You can see she's holding back tears. She's fighting all her anger and rage and pain and her sadness, and she just has one expression on her face. And when I put the video up here for the picture up here for number 3, this isn't the face. I couldn't find the face because I don't have the DVD yet, but this scene alone just made me fall in love with Jin, because her character is everything she's known and everything she's loved is just crashing down. Her father, her hopes, everything about the rebellion, it's all in this scene, and she realizes she'll never see her father again. And she's just fighting back anger and sadness and all this frustration in her, and she's holding back the pain. And you can see she doesn't want to leave. She just wants to stay there and process everything happening to her. It's pure, it's real, it's great acting, and I just fell in love with the scene. I fell in love with Jin because of this scene, and it just made me want to see more from her. It was the best acting moment Jin had in the entire movie, and she had some really great scenes, but this moment, to me, it just made her character so good, and the pain she was going through in that moment, just holding back everything, trying to stay tough and resilient. It just was so incredible to watch on screen. So number 3, Jin Erso on Jedha watching the hologram of her father. And coming in at number 2, this is the one scene, doesn't matter who you are, this is going to be on your top 10 list of Star Wars moments ever. And you know what I'm talking about, I don't even have to say it. It's the hallway scene with Darth Vader. This is what we've been waiting for and what we haven't seen from Darth Vader for the entire saga, and that's him wreck shop on all the characters in this. You can see the struggle and the fear in the rebels' eyes as they try to get the plans down the hallway, just down the hallway. And when you see the lightsaber ignite and you see the flash of Vader, it's beautiful, it's terrifying, terrifying. This is shot like a horror movie, and we have a monster just walking down the hallway, killing everybody. He's slicing people up, and he's stabbing people through the door. It's incredible, and the fear in the eyes of all the rebels, because they have not seen a lightsaber in 19 years. And you can see this is the first time they've seen a Jedi, and it's a Jedi that wants to kill them. It's terrifying. The Force is strong with Vader in this scene as he's just picking people up in the air and throwing them down. It's so scary to watch, and it's so intense, and it's what we wanted from Darth Vader since 1977, and we finally have it. It's beautiful. It was so scary and intense, and the pain and the fear in the rebels as they just barely escape with the plans, and you can see, how did they get out of there? It's so crazy, it was so intense, and it was beautifully shot. One of the greatest scenes in all of Star Wars history, and I have it at number 2. Yeah, it's number 2. What could my number 1 be? My number 1 scene, And my number one moment from Rogue One is Hope. The scene with Princess Leia when she gets the plans and she says hope. You can say what you want about the CGI. I get it. It doesn't look good. It looks terrible, actually. But that scene meant so much to me in the theater because this is what everything we've seen has been culminating to. Princess Leia finally having hope for the rebellion. There being hope in the galaxy. And we see Princess Leia holding these plans in just a powerful way. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful. And it's so sad to see now that Carrie Fisher has passed. I think it's poetic that around the time she passed, we have this powerful, important scene with Princess Leia saying hope, how there's still going to be hope now. Everything has been culminating to this moment, and when she gets the plans, it's so powerful, it's so poetic. And it's the scene that sets up everything else to come in the Star Wars galaxy. It's beautiful. It made me so happy in the theater to see. I smiled, I cheered, I cried. It was so great, so beautiful. And to this day, I don't think I will ever be as excited to see Princess Leia on screen than I was in that moment. That being said, we could see The Last Jedi, and that could change my perspective. But that moment, seeing Princess Leia with those plans, was my favorite moment in Rogue One. Perfect way to end the movie. Poetic way with Carrie Fisher's passing. I just loved everything about that moment. It was so powerful, so important. And I cannot wait to see more Star Wars with Princess Leia. And with everything else we can see happening. May the Force be with you, Carrie Fisher. May the Force be with you. So that is my list of my top 10 moments from Rogue One. Let me know what yours are. I'd love to hear them. I love talking about this movie. And you know what? I'll catch you in the next video. And if this goes well, you can hear me talking about my 10 moments from The Force Awakens within the next couple of weeks. So, good luck.